So my technical score
Mm-hmm.
for Signs, I give Signs an 8. There is as I said, I think Tak Fujimoto, I might even give it an 8.5. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think this movie is pretty technically sound. There's
it
not a
is.
whole lot of like fat on this movie. Every single moment feels really useful and important to the screenplay. As I mentioned, there's like a couple lines that I'm like, maybe that's a
Yeah,
slightly stronger scene.
yeah.
If you lose that or lose
Mm-hmm.
you just like one line away from that being a really well written scene. But
Yeah.
those are really, really nitpicky things.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I'm really impressed with the structure of this film.
Me too.
I feel like I want to show this to people to like the people at Clean Flicks and be like, here's how to make a movie about faith and
Right.
about, like
Right.
God and stuff that
Yes.
doesn't suck. Like,
Yeah.
so I
It's
really
not.
liked it. I'm going to give it an 8.5 technically.
Okay. I gave it an 8 as well,
Yeah.
all for the same reasons. Structurally, it's great. The music, the cinematography, there's a lot great about this movie. So pretty much just echoing what you said. So I'll give it
Not
an 8.
really a not really a bad performance in it, to be
No,
honest.
no.
Everybody's just crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ending I will give an
Or wait.
8.
Oh, or we do rewatchability.
Oh, rewatchability. Okay. All right. Rewatchability, 8. I I've probably watched this movie 30 times in my life and I enjoy it every single time. The most recent rewatch, I hadn't seen it in years. It'd probably been 10, 15 years since I'd
Yeah.
watched
Yeah.
Signs. And I was wondering if rewatching it, I was going to be like, oh, this isn't as good as I remember. And I was like, actually, I just think this is great. Like, I
Yep.
just think that I love that it's an original screenplay. I love that it's
Yeah.
not based on anything.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a time in Hollywood where that wasn't an anomaly. I even heard M.
Yeah.
Night Shyamalan talking about this recently, that like it
Yep.
used to be the norm that original movies were coming out every weekend.
Yeah.
And it was nice to just see a movie that was just an original screenplay, an original story. And
Yeah. It really wasn't that long
yeah,
ago either. I mean, this came out
no,
in 2002. It really
yeah,
kind of changed around 2008 ish,
yeah,
2012 ish. That area it started getting into that. But yeah, I love that this was an original movie as well.
yeah,
Rewatchability for me, excuse me, I gave it an 8.5.
yeah.
I can rewatch it. I think it you notice a lot more on the rewatches, so it's great. I gave it an 8.5.
Yep. Ending. Want to do
Yes.
ending?
Ending. You want me to start?
Ending. Yeah, I said an 8, so you go
Okay,
ahead.
use it. Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I gave the I gave the ending a 10.
Okay, yeah.
I think, and I'm being very generous with that, but just I think the fun that I have with it, the fact that this movie, like I said, is an entire buildup to a payoff. The payoff is so intricately weaved throughout the whole story that the ending is everything in this movie. And it's okay if you don't like it, but I loved it, and I got the same excited feeling every time that I've watched it. Like, it's just fun to watch, and it really sticks the landing. So I give it a 10.
It's always really fun when a movie is like this is still when M. Night Shyamalan was still like, I mean, the reason why he became known as like the twist master is that and it became this thing where you'd go and watch his movies and you would try to be paying attention to every little detail you
Yeah.
possibly could, because he would always find a way to bring all of those details back at the end and make them all pay off. And sometimes that works better than other times in his films. Sometimes the payoff feels like it's a little bit richer. This movie, you're right. It really is like I think this movie, he pulls off the magic trick of making it just seem like he's doing idiosyncratic character things that don't really like, oh yeah, the kid's got asthma and that's good. We can use that as a plot device. Like, oh, they're going to forget his medicine and that's going to create tension. And that's why he has asthma, but there's actually a better reason why he has asthma that's going to come up later that you're not thinking about. And the whole like, oh, Bo, is afraid of contaminants and stuff like that could just be a residual thing from like her mom dying, that she's just afraid of like, what, and it like, or it just could be an idiosyncratic thing that just creates a fun character vibe.
Yeah.
But you don't think that this stuff's going to pay off the way it does. Having them have the scene where they talk about Meryl being this kind of like strikeout king in baseball, seems almost like it's just explaining why Meryl lives with his brother and why Meryl, and it adds layers to that character, but you're not really expecting that to become such an integral part of the climax.
Yeah.
It's really cool
unexpected.
the way that he brings all of this stuff, and the fact that it comes from our main character who has been having a faith crisis, all of a sudden see everything opening up in him going, oh, everything in my life has been building toward this moment right here.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually going to amend my score and say 9, because I think you're right. This movie really, this screenplay really does a nice job of earning all of this, and using all of the stuff that leads up to it.
Yeah.
Cultural significance for this film. I think for a minute there, Signs really did a thing in Hollywood. There was like an influx of alien horror films that were more just sort of pure genre flicks. But I think that Signs is kind of a forgotten Shyamalan movie. So I'm going to put this as a 7.
Okay.
And I think that people forget about this movie.
It was big when it came out, when, in 2002, when we saw it. I gave it a 6.5 because I agree. I think it's kind of forgotten. It was big when it came out, but it was very divisive. Like we've talked about, there's a lot of people that don't like it, a lot of people that don't see it, which is totally fine. I think it was impactful, but it hasn't stayed as impactful as The Sixth Sense, especially in today. So I think 6.5.
Yep. And our subjective score, solid 8 from me. I really like this movie. Obviously, I gotta reserve my 9s and 10s for like my favorite films of all time. But
I know.
But this is really good. I really like this movie. I think it's a really, really solid watch, and I really enjoy it. Yeah.
I gave it a 9. Because I just had so much fun watching it again, and it's very impactful for me. When we saw it, it was great. So subjectively, I think it's a 9. I loved it.
I'm sure as a father now, it really hits completely differently, and
it does actually. Yeah, and especially when Bo looks exactly like my daughter and sounds like my daughter,
right?
It made it a little bit different. It kind of hit a little bit differently this time.
Yeah. Well, there it is. Oh my goodness, Signs.
All right.
By M. Night Shyamalan. If you've seen it, let us know what do you think about Signs?
Yes.
And do you agree with us or disagree with us? Is the water thing cool or stupid? Let us know. And also, if you would, just like, share, and comment, and subscribe, and do all of those things. And we'll see you at the next one.
Yep. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.